The Vader 4 Pro versus the Apex 4. The numbers are equal, so the controllers must be as well. Incorrect. This controller is more than double the price of this bad boy, but doesn't necessarily have double the features. And this actually isn't as complicated as a topic or nearly as long of a video as you might think. You might have think you just tuned in for a feature-length documentary, but I'm going to keep this short and sweet. But what I am going to do for those that require a little bit more information on any of these three controllers we're talking about today is linked in the description below. Is going to be my much longer, in-depth, comprehensive reviews. So if I mention something that you want a little bit more information on, I guarantee you there's more supplementary information in the actual reviews linked in the description below. But without further ado, the bluff or bottom line up front is the fact that the Vader 4 Pro does revise a lot of the parts such as the bumpers and D-pad, but the one major change is ditching K-Silver Hall Effect thumbstick modules, which performed pretty good in gameplay as well as my diagnostics in GPT. However, they can still get stick drift for you because they do have a typical recentering spring which can lose tension over time. In fact, I've even read comments or complaints saying, hey, I got stick drift on my Vader 3 Pro. Now, the Vader 4 uses the latest and greatest in-house modules from FlyDigi, which were basically everything we liked from the Apex 4 modules, which I luckily was able to do a little showcase or tour of on the channel. In hindsight, I wish I would have taken them apart, taken off the shroud or housing, so we could have taken a look at the guts, and I'll probably revisit that project in a later video. But facts are, it took everything we liked, like the adjustable tension, but then improved on that with the Vader 4. For example, you don't need to remove the faceplate to adjust the tension. And the modules are quite simply the best from FlyDigi and some of the best Hall Effect modules on the controller market, period. Right up there with the TMRs from Ghoulie Kit, which are a drop-in kit, which I am going to be doing a tutorial for Xbox, PlayStation, and Switch Pro controllers, as well as an overall review. Are they good modules? Surprise, surprise. Yes, they are. They're not actually Hall Effect. They are magnetic technology, but it's not Hall. It's TMR magnetic technology, but it's such a small, minuscule detail. I wouldn't even correct anybody for calling them Hall Effect or anything, but verbatim from the blurb I got from the manufacturer, Ghoulie Kit, they're not Hall, they're TMR. But the new modules from FlyDigi, as seen from the teardown or disassembly in the ass end or end of the review from yesterday, those modules do not have a typical recentering spring, which is the one physical component that could give you stick drift. So in essence, in theory, these modules should never get stick drift for you. But what could happen is you could have the set screw back out, and that would make your modules feel completely loose to where they had zero tension. Now, in essence, this should never happen if you didn't take apart your controller, just normally adjusting with the tension rings on the outside of the faceplate. But that is a possible point that I could see backing out or breaking for people, and if they didn't know how to take apart their controller and just screw that set screw back in, then they would just think, oop, I've got a broken controller now, I have stick drift, time to return this sucker. So that right there is a big point for a lot of people, is the fact that stick drift is the least likely, in essence, should be practically impossible to get with the Vader 4 Pro. After inspecting the modules, there's nothing there that can get stick drift for you. So because of that one feature alone, which not only felt better in gameplay, being able to adjust the tension, which I thought was a nicety, but also the fact that inevitably this controller should never get stick drift for you, makes me want to recommend the Vader 4 Pro over the 3 Pro. However, the 3 Pro was just pointed out from a viewer in the comment section that with a little coupon on Amazon is currently going for about $55 on Amazon, which is the price it usually goes for on Alibaba, Wish, Temu, scumbum sites like that. So if you do find the Vader 3 Pro around that price point, it's hard to say not to scoop it up, but I would still actually advise poning up the extra 30 bucks or so and purchasing the Vader 4 Pro when it becomes available on Amazon August 10th. Because if you were to order it from AliExpress or Temu, whatever, right now, July 25th, you'd actually be waiting probably past August 10th for deliveries. Awesome. So we've got the 3 and the 4 out of the way, the Vaders that is. So now we can focus on the Apex 4 and the Vader 4. And really, these controllers are kind of polar opposites, not only in cosmetics. This is a little bit more white. This is a little bit more blacked out. They both look really sick, but the Apex 4 has a lot more of those gimmicky features, things like adaptive triggers, things like a screen, which is a feature that could be completely ditched considering almost everything you can do on this controller, you can do on this controller just by holding down a combination of button presses. The Apex 4 does have adaptive triggers, although I wouldn't really deem that a selling feature or something that would make you choose the Apex 4 over the Vader 4, considering it doesn't work like the PlayStation PlayStation 4 DualSense, considering there's only about 15 titles currently that support it, and you have to launch it through the FlyDigi Space application, and all other games you actually need to manually set up things like your dampening strength and rebound, and who wants to do that? 5 minutes of trigger calibration every time you launch a game? Furthermore than that, I think the RGB looks really cool on the Apex 4, but as an owner of it, I'm just going to disable it to squeak out a little bit more battery life. And I don't think the price is really warranted on the Apex 4, considering it's $160 and does not include a carrying case or swappable thumbstick caps. You can remove all the thumbstick caps on all current FlyDigi models, but they don't include a swappable option, and I do believe the most expensive model, the Apex 4 over here, should absolutely include not only the carrying case, but also their optional charging cradle, which is about $20 on Amazon, and I have reviewed previously on the channel. So while this is a fantastic controller and the adaptive triggers is a cool feature to have on PC, every performance feature that I really enjoy on the Apex, I enjoy a little bit more on the Vader 4. For example, the Apex 4 has a digital trigger lock system using the adaptive trigger motors, which has 3 stages of adjustment. However, as shown in a previous demo, you can actually still force your finger past the stoppage, which if you do that on a typical physical trigger lock or stop system, you're actually breaking something in the controller. Now, the Vader 3 and 4 Pro have the identical trigger stopper lock system as shown during the teardown or disassembly, and I like this a lot more because it's a physical system that, when engaged, becomes a digital mouse click. Even these manufacturers got me calling it digital now. That's not even a real they're mechanical switches. That's what they're actually scientifically called. So the trigger lock system better in the Vader. The rear buttons is of course going to be the same across all FlyDigi models. They haven't changed them, and I don't think they're going to revise or change their rear button system in the next few years. I don't foresee FlyDigi releasing a new rear button design anytime soon. So if I could only own one of these pads, because buying 2 of them, I mean, this is honestly a great little 1-2 punch. I've heard a lot of people in my comment section say, hey, I got a Apex and I got a Vader 3 or 4, and that's a great little 1-2 punch. That is $240 worth of controllers, you know, 160, about 80 here. If I could only purchase one with my hard-earned caps, it would for sure be the Vader 4 Pro. I know I just released a video last week saying the Apex 4 is the best controller. Strong title to get you to click the video. The actual context of the video in the verdict section, I do mention verbatim, there is no perfect controller, and me describing it as the perfect controller is a play off of a video from 3 days prior to that where I described what my dream controller would be. A gamepad with the shape and shell design of an Xbox controller, but with all the niceties of the current Sony controllers, things like their overclock ability, gyro motion aiming, adaptive trigger, haptic feedback vibration, pretty much everything mentioned in my stock Xbox versus stock PlayStation controller video, which if you have not watched that, I strongly recommend it. You know, out of all my videos I've made, that's probably, I'd rank that like top 3 or 5 ones that you should really watch. It's a good one. I put a lot of time and cream into that one, and I think I actually did my hair for that video. It won't be looking like that. Oh, that made it way worse. So don't feel bad if you bought an Apex 4, because it is a killer controller, but now actually having put hands on the Vader 4 Pro, I do like it a lot more, and the fact that it is half the price makes it an easier recommend. I do think the Apex 4, I've said it before and I'm going to say it one more time because this is something that FlyDigi can change. If they're going to keep the price at $160, include your optional cloth carrying case and your charging cradle. That should ship with the Apex 4. Now, both of these controllers do have the same Bluetooth speeds, do have the same performance of gyro motion aiming on PC and on the Switch Pro controller. A lot of the performance niceties, or features I should say, are the same across the Vader and the Apex. Things like how the thumbsticks actually feel in gameplay, very similar, although I will say the Vader 4 with its new design felt super smooth. I read one comment saying something about diagonal inputs feeling a little bit mushy or off. I did test that further, as I told you I would in that comment section, and I'm not noticing any of that. I tried strafing diagonal movements and stuff, and yeah, I'm not seeing that yet, so I will keep an eye though. Some things I wish would have been changed on the Vader 4, this little RGB strip underneath the home or touch button, which also is not an actual physical button. I do believe that should be the home button, not this tiny little guy right there. But this little RGB strip, I know that had to add a couple of shekels to the build cost and whatnot. Most people just disable this little RGB strip because it looks really tacky and ugly. Probably one of the worst implementations of RGB lighting on a controller I've seen, and it just turned it off. So I really think that that little strip could be ditched, unlike the Apex 4 where the RGB looks really neato bleeding through that faceplate. Side point, somebody asked me in the comment section the other day, and I answered them, but I'm gonna answer y'all now. What is that little track for by the USB-C port? That is, awkwardly enough, I don't know why this is on all FlyDigi controllers, but some of their controllers, actually, you know what? I think It's actually all of them because you can Bluetooth any of these controllers to a cell phone. They all have mobile support, and FlyDigi does sell an optional snap-on piece for the top where you can clip your phone. So these become mobile controllers. That's what that little thing's for.
Come here, little guy. Come here, little earthworm, you. Come here.
So do I recommend the Apex 4 at all? Yeah, the RGB looks cool, and the adaptive triggers are kind of cool. I mean, all in all, the Vader 4 is a much tastier package. If we were to taste both packages back to back, you know, taste one, hooey, spit that shit out, grab the other one, taste that one. That one tasted shitty too. The Vader 4, the winner of the video. Then the Vader 3 Pro, if you can find it on sale. The Apex 4 does have rubber grips, which I do prefer over the plastic, which is stippled, does provide a little bit of grip on the Vader 3 and 4 Pro. But if you are a Vader owner, I do recommend this rubber stick-on kit, which is available on Amazon. I did make a short form video about it. It makes the controller feel so much better. That is linked in the description below. Drop in the comment section below what you think about these two beasts, and I will see you tomorrow. Ooh, almost signed off before spoiling an upcoming video for you. I am going to be comparing the FlyDigi Vader 4 Pro and the Ghoulie Kit KK3 Max because I've had a lot of requests to pit those two titans together in the gauntlet, the crucible. See you tomorrow. Comment section. Peace. If you enjoyed the video, liking it helps it to get seen by more gamers, so this information will reach and assist them as well. Much like the back of the TV, I've got plugs for all of my socials down there in the description below. And your wallet will greatly thank you if you check the description because there are exclusive discounts on a ton of products, including controllers, KontrolFreeks, keyboards, mouse pads, clothes, and energy drinks. And keep in mind that you, the viewer, keep this channel running. The more stallions and stallionettes trotting around the stable, the better. So mollywop that subscribe button like it owes you money, and we'll have the same amount of fun tomorrow.